Former President Trump set to make his first stop in Wisconsin this week since last month's Republican convention took place in Milwaukee. To kick things off, he will be meeting with voters in Crosse, in the western part of the state, right on the border of Minnesota. Wisconsin's seen as one of the most crucial battleground states in this election. 10 electoral votes are up for grabs, and all this week we're going to be zeroing in on the Badger State in our swing state spotlight. Little history first. Trump carried Wisconsin in 2016, but it flipped blue in 2020. Right now, Harris is up slightly with a 3-point lead in the polls there. Joining me now, the president of Decision Desk HQ, Drew McCoy. Drew, thanks for being here. Historically, let's talk about Wisconsin here. When did it become a toss-up?
At the presidential level, it had been pretty strongly Democratic. But if you remember, Scott Walker, the two-term governor, actually won 3 elections, surviving a recall around the mid-2010s. So it's been a state that has moved right a little bit, or substantially actually, but is still right on the edge now of a toss-up. So it's a state that both parties still feel they have a good shot at, and it's an important part of certainly the Democratic electoral calculus.
So 10 electoral votes. Trump won it in 2016. How much did Biden win Wisconsin in 2020?
It was about 23,000 votes or so. It actually was within the recount margin, according to Wisconsin law. So it was very close race, and it's expected to be close again.
So which are some of the counties and areas and issues that will be key factors in this state on election night that will be breaking down the numbers and waiting for?
Sure. Democrats are going to focus on places like Milwaukee and Dane County, which is Madison, home to the University of Wisconsin. So very strong Democratic areas there. The other areas that have been the traditional battleground is the so-called WOW counties around Milwaukee, Waukesha, Ozaukee, Washington. These are the counties that are more up for grabs and moving Democratic pretty substantially in the last few years. So you'll see they're traditionally Republican areas, but they're areas that Donald Trump doesn't tend to do well. Higher educated voters, things like that have moved from the Republicans to the Democrats in the last few years. On the Republican side, they're going to want to go to those places like you're talking about in western Wisconsin, the so-called driftless areas up in the northwest area. The more rural parts of the state that are solidly Republican, that's an area that Donald Trump's going to want to turn out the vote and run up the margins as much as possible. And then we'll be watching for Milwaukee and as I said, Madison/Dane County to come in later in the evening.
So one of the places I mentioned Trump will be first this week as he makes a stop in Wisconsin will be Crosse. What do we know about that western community?
Yeah, it's one of those sort of blue-collar areas that Republicans have been picking up. Again, it's about the changing coalitions within the parties. So you're seeing a move away for Republicans from the suburban counties of Milwaukee out to these sort of smaller urban areas, and their sort of the rural areas around them as well. That's where the Republican Party is going to focus, and that's why you're seeing Donald Trump go out there.
Looking at the top issues for folks in Wisconsin, Drew, abortion falls in second behind the economy. And I want to share with folks at home what Republican vice presidential nominee J.D. Vance said about Trump's stance on the possibility of a national abortion ban. So he said California wants to have a different abortion policy than Ohio. Ohio then has to respect California, and California has to respect Ohio. He said Donald Trump's view is that we want to have the individual states and their individual cultures and unique political sensibilities to make these decisions because we don't want to have a nonstop federal conflict over this issue. Does this resonate, Drew, with independent voters?
That's something that's being tested. Obviously, abortion was, for the most part, a federal issue up until the overturning of Roe v. Wade. And so we've seen in a lot of states where there have been ballot initiatives, which is, returning to the states and the people to decide. We've seen pro-abortion access measures do well in states that you might consider red, Ohio, Kansas, Kentucky, for example. So it's definitely something that is on voters' minds. It's going to be interesting to see if that translates from an issue campaign to a single issue campaign for a ballot measure, to a national campaign where there are a number of issues on the table, but certainly it's one that are on voters' minds and both parties are having to address in this new environment.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.